Welcome to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host, with Lammy Chillmeister, your co-host. It is August 20th, 2024. We're gonna start. I ain't really got much of an update. Hang on just a second. Sorry, someone creeping around. I ain't really got much of an update. Everything's just been work. All work and no play makes, what was it, Johnny a dull boy or something like that? Shining reference. So we'll just jump into the show. So this is it's not super old news, but look, sometimes you're going to get a little bit of older news, and it might be something you haven't heard about. Just because I can't cover it all. I have a full-time job, 40 hours a week, sometimes overtime. On days off, I gotta try to hang out with the missus and do stuff, you know. I just can't cover it all, man. But I did want to cover this. It's politics, so if you don't like politics, I don't know what to tell you, because politics tie in with conspiracy. So does true crime. Like, there's a lot of people in the conspiracy community that's like, I can't stand politics. It's all fake. And it's like, well, I mean, those are the chess pieces on the board. So if you're not paying attention to politics somewhat, then, you know, you're missing big chunks. Same with news. There's a lot of anti-news conspiracy theorists. And it's like, if you're not paying attention to the news because they tell you exactly what they're doing, they show their hand, you know. I had a guy yesterday I work with, the QAnon guy. He's like, I don't watch the news. I'm like thinking in my head, well, yeah, you're not a content creator either, so you don't have to watch the news. I kind of have to, because it's content and it's programming, it's fucking propaganda. They show you what they're doing. Like, if you're a conspiracy theorist not watching the news, to me, I find that strange, because they literally tell you what they're planning. True crime too, man. If you're not into true crime, I'm not saying you got to be like super gore porn about it and like, oh yeah, people are getting dismembered and blah blah blah, but true crime ties in with conspiracy like a lot. If you're not paying attention to certain true crime cases, you're missing a gigantic puzzle of conspiracy. But anyways, getting into some politics. RFK Jr. was disqualified from the New York ballot because the judge, a Democrat judge, New School Democrat, Kennedy Democrat, was a decent era. That's back when the Democrats were the good guys, because they like to switch it up on us every now and then, of Republicans good guy, Democrats good guy. You know, the politics change in general. Because honestly, the Republicans back during the Kennedy era were the bad guys, you know, anti-marijuana, anti-gay marriage, Christian nationalism and shit like that. But yeah, this is a New School Democrat, so super far left libtard. Judge basically disqualified him from the New York ballot because she said that he's not really a resident of New York. And RFK did a video on this, talking about how he is a resident of New York. And he votes in New York elections. He has an office up there. He has an apartment up there. That's one of his headquarters. He has multiple headquarters. I believe he has one in California. I mean, if I was a millionaire or a billionaire, I would have multiple houses. But I don't. Her name, by the way, is Christina Ryba. RYBA. This makes no sense to me too. Am I missing something in this story? Because I got this off of NPC News, NPC show. So shout out to him. I do watch him. I watch both sides, so that way I'm not stuck in an echo chamber. And I always suggest people do the same. I watch, liberals like Jimmy Dore. And then I watch Republican conservative channels like NPC Show. I watch Christian channels. I watch occult channels. I watch a little bit of everything. I just don't want to be stuck in an echo chamber. And I suggest people do the same thing. Because you need to hear both sides of the coin, both sides of the story. There's always gray areas in just about any subject. So shout out to him. Go check his stuff out. Tell him who sent you. That way maybe he'll give me a shout out. I doubt he will, though, because I don't know. He's kind of... He seems like one of those guys, like, he gets pissed off real easy. Like, he bans people from his chats like crazy. Yeah. He's kind of like real MAGA, super MAGA. He used to do a lot of QAnon stuff back in the day, which so did I. I fell into the Q trap. Yeah. He was making the point too, and I was confused also. Like, we were both on the same wavelength of, why does it matter if he is or is not a resident in New York to be put on the New York ballot? Because it's like, so does that mean if I ran for president, I would have to have a house in all 51 states? Like, that makes no fucking sense. Like, that's not how that works. You can live in one state, you can live in multiple states and be a resident of multiple states, I would imagine. I don't understand. Like, I'm just confused. I think this is just a Illuminati cunt trying to keep RFK off the ballot. But it's concerning, though, because is this setting a precedent for the future of, like, oh, you're not a resident of this state for whoever runs for president now. Like, so you can't be on the ballot. Another thing, too, and last election cycle was the first time I voted. I voted for Trump. Can't you, even if they're not on the ballot, can't you just write them in? I'm very confused about this, because I always thought write-ins were possible, because I understand that, in the words of Rajneesh, like, the people are retarded. So maybe that's why they want to be put on the ballot so bad, because there are those people who don't know that you can write someone in, maybe. And they're like, oh, if I'm not on the ballot, they're just going to assume they can't vote for me, even though they could write me in. I don't know. I just always thought that you could write in the candidate, because, like, I live in Kentucky and they're worried that Kennedy might not get on the ballot here. And I'm like, that's fine. I'll just write him in. RFK Jr., and I'll write his name out fully. Robert Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. Pretty sure it's Fitzgerald. I'll make sure I know before I go. But I'm just confused on the whole write-in thing. Like, why people are just forgetting about that, unless the rules change. Did the rules change? As far as I knew, you could write in any candidate. So, I don't know. Hit me up in the comments. I'm not the most super political dude. I keep up with it as much as I can. But like I said earlier when I started this, I can't report on everything. I can't keep up with everything. I work a full 40 hours, sometimes 50-hour weeks. Yeah, I just can't keep up with everything, Give me just a second. Just checking my notes, but there's some, like, weird shadiness going on over there, like cops swapping girls and shit in their cruisers. Welcome to Lexington, dude. Fucking weird. So he did lose in the Supreme Court in Albany. and New York. Ironically, it is the lowest Supreme Court, apparently. He's going to appeal. And where he is appealing in its Supreme Court, he did say that he would get faster treatment. He'd get in and out quicker. Hopefully, unless they give him the runaround. Because apparently it is kangaroo court. And I hear all these Trump people, going, oh, they don't want Trump to get in, he's the only one fighting the Illuminati. No, he's not. He's not the only one fighting the bad people, man. The bad guys, whatever you want to call them, the elites, whatever, New World Order, whatever. RFK is too. When the Trump assassination attempt happened, yes, it was a closer call, but I was like, yeah, that happened with RFK Jr. And everyone's like, what? When? It's like, bro, RFK Jr. doesn't even have Secret Service. So at least Trump, yes, the Secret Service wanted Trump dead, obviously, but we didn't know that then. But I'm like, at least Trump had Secret Service. Like, they really don't like RFK, man. I think they dislike RFK more than they dislike Trump. It's like, yeah, there was an assassination attempt on RFK Jr. And I think RFK Jr. finally got Secret Service protection now. After the Trump assassination attempt is what I heard. So I think in a way they were kind of like, oh, see all this sketchiness with the Trump assassination attempt? Now you can have Secret Service protection. Almost like a fuck you, buddy, you see how useless they are, and you see how if we want them to have you dead, wink, wink. So sure, take our Secret Service, Another thing, too, is like RFK Jr. used to be a lawyer. He's sued like tons of different pharmaceutical companies, sued like FDA, like EPA, like a bunch of shit, man. RFK Jr. was suing the fuck out of all these evil elites for years. But he said that New York City is his main domicile. Apparently this is like court lingo, legalese, jargon, whatever you want to call it. So it is his main domicile. So he has that going for him. It's his headquarters is New York. He said whenever he gets old enough to where he wants to just retire and settle down, it'll be New York City. He said this whole fucking spiel is going to cost him $10 million. He's estimating. So I don't know. That's up to you. If you're an RFK supporter, buy a t-shirt, buy a bumper sticker, maybe do a donation, whatever you can. If you want, that's up to you. I'm not telling you to, because I'm broke as a joke, just like you guys. I got other priorities, like trying to help my mother-in-law and shit get out of the financial hole. So, but yeah, I figured I'd let you all know that's what's going on with RFK not being on the New York ballot. Let's get on with the next story, y'all. So, this is a concerning trend that's going on with, of course, TikTok. Y'all know how I feel about TikTok. It's Chinese spyware, for one. Which people go, well, the U.S. government's spying on us too. And I go, okay, I don't trust the U.S. government. But you know what government I trust less than the U.S. government? The Chinese fucking government, dude. Like, they want to dominate the entire world. And they're already infiltrating and moving over here. Setting up base in Canada. Creepy ass shit. Go check out channels like Marfugal News and shit that cover what's going on militarily with China and shit like that. Like, it's getting creepy out there. And you're not going to hear it on the mainstream news. Another thing, too, I believe that it's honestly the Chinese government with TikTok is running psychological operations on our youth. Which, okay, first of all, when I was growing up, we had like dial-up internet, the AOL and shit, that was like, you know, that crazy shit that took like an hour, 2 hours just to get the computer going. So, but my parents were always hovering over my shoulder and checking in. What are you looking up? You know, I didn't grow up in a house that we just had computers or had cell phones. If we did have a cell phone, we didn't have cell phones. I didn't have a fucking cell phone until high school when I got a job. They said, if you got a job, you need to have a cell phone. When you start driving, you need to have a cell phone. And it was a flip phone. No internet. It was either calling or text because we were poor as fuck. So I had to literally choose, do I want to be able to text or do I want to be able to call? I usually chose calling because I always wanted to call and talk to my girlfriend and shit. But then sometimes I was like, man, if I did text, I don't know. It just depended how I felt that month, really. And how much money I made from my gas station job in high school, you know. But I did not grow up in the era of like pornography just flowing from a phone, you know. It is insane. I'm going to do a whole episode on pornography one day because it'll be a blue pill episode, but I got a lot of fucking thoughts on pornography, like good and bad. Like I would say honestly, I had a porn addiction at one time. It got pretty bad. But it all comes down to just fucking obvious common sense shit. If you are a parent, you should be keeping up with what your children are doing on their phones as far as the internet. What sites are they visiting? What are they watching? I would be that dickhead parent of like, first of all, like at dinner time, phones go away. We're sitting down and having dinner. Like, we always do that, man. Back when my whole family unit was together, we had sit down dinners and shit. Like, no phones, no TV. We would sit down at the dinner table and, how are you? How are you feeling? Anything going on? Everything good? No one does that anymore, and it's fucking depressing. But my kid would not be allowed on TikTok, dude. And the Chinese government TikTok, like, first of all, their children are mandated to only have so much time on tablets and internet and shit. Which I'm not pro-communism or pro-fascism or anything, but in a way I'm kind of like, yeah, because they want little soldiers and little good citizens and shit, you know? But there is a part of me that's like, that's why you see videos. There are videos that are fucking terrifying. There's like literally kindergartners in China. They teach them how to like load rifles. They take them to the shooting range. They got them crawling under barbed wire. Like, and then I've seen like compare and contrast of like our American youth of like literally we're teaching our children that they can be like whatever gender they want when they haven't even figured out. They don't even know what cartoons they like. They're 5 years old and we're teaching them they can cut their penises off and shit. And then you look at China and they're like, you're a man, load this rifle. You know, I'm like, oh, we're fucked. We're getting conquered. Okay, gotcha. And their TikTok in general is like completely fucking different. Like, they give us all the garbage and shit, like Tide Pod Challenge. They want us dumb, retarded, uneducated, lazy. So that's my thoughts on TikTok. Sorry for that rant. I had to get that out of my system. I think TikTok will be part of the downfall of America. There is a trend going on because of monkeypox that the youth of our nation, the youth of a nation, we are the youth of a nation. I hate to sound like an old man, but that's the type of shit we had, dude. Music pumping us up like that, dude. Or Smells Like Teen Spirit, you know. This generation is fucked. There's a trend going on with this monkeypox shit going on, of people celebrating and wanting a second lockdown. Now, go check out, it might have been yesterday's episode that I got into monkeypox. I don't know. One of my previous episodes, it literally says like monkeypox in the title. And it was me explaining, to wrap it all up very shortly in a nice little Christmas present, we do not have to take part in this. And I said the exact same thing with COVID. Ignore it, keep it out of your head, and do not participate. No more mask, no more 6 feet apart, no more lockdowns. Do not do this again, guys. Please don't do this again. Please don't do this again. But this next generation is literally excited to have another lockdown. It is fucking terrifying. And these videos are getting like millions of fucking views. It came to my attention from like this girl's channel. She's like 19 years old. She's an English girl, so we know the lockdowns were 10 times worse over there. And she brought up like suicide rates. I'm wearing a fucking pin right now of a girl who killed herself during lockdown. Her name was Chloe, because of depression during lockdowns. Like, we cannot do this again, people. And there's people excited about it, like wanting another lockdown. And then they wonder why everything is so inflated. They wonder why the economy's fucked. They wonder why the job market's fucked. I mean, go watch my 4th of July episode. I was talking and bitching about how like everything closes down at 7 or 8 o'clock at night now, when it used to be 11 o'clock at night. And people go, I need a job. Well, they learned that we can just make our own hours. We can have half of a staff. You know, like, it's insanity, dude. But then there is a part of me, too. I listen to a lot of conspiracy podcasts. And there is that darker black-pilled side of me, which I told you guys, I'm fucking white-pilled, dude. Which means you got blue, you got purple, you got red, you got black, which is like all hopelessness. We're all fucked. All the elections are rigged. All politics is rigged. There's no hope. We're all fucking doomed. And then there's one more pill that everyone needs to swallow after that. The white pill, which is save yourself and spirituality. And I did a whole episode on it. I think the episode's literally called Save Yourself. Go watch that episode. And it'll be a good little war pump up. Remember how William Wallace was riding up and down? I bet you they told you I was 7 feet tall and shot lightning bolts out of my eyes. It's one of those pumped up. It'll pump you up, dude. Listen to it before work or something. I would love to put some music over it and just fucking rant on you people. Get you going, you know, feeling good. Every now and then I have those episodes where I just grab the mic and I just lay into you all. And usually it's to pump you up. Every now and then I'll give verbal spankings, but white pill, dude. That's where it's at. But there is a part of me that you have to go through that black pill and hit rock bottom of conspiracy, bottom of the rabbit hole, and you have to feel hopelessness and darkness. My black pill came after the QAnon shit. When I used to be a Q-tard, and I got out of that shit. And I realized, like, uh-oh, I gotta save myself. Like, I have to prep with food and water and gold and silver and guns and weapons and get into spirituality and start praying more and start getting closer to God, because it's gonna get dark and scary and weird. Okay. But there is a part of me that gets black-pilled every now and then. And I listen to a lot of conspiracy podcasts. And I listen to Look Into It with Eddie Bravo. Go check it out, dude. If you're not listening to Look Into It with Eddie Bravo, you are missing out on conspiracy fucking fire, dog. And if you do, go check it out. If you've never checked it out before, tell him who sent you. Maybe he'll give me a shout out. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? He says he hopes there's another lockdown. And I almost agree with him. Because he said people are still asleep. There's still people out there walking around with masks, you know. Still people out there taking 1 billion fucking boosters and they're sick as dogs. I got long COVID. Ugh. How many boosters have you had? Like 7. And I'm super sick. I got long COVID. COVID's killing me. Sure that's COVID, buddy? How many shots did you have? Goose egg. 0. I'm doing just fine. And I have autoimmune deficiency. I'm doing great. I hack up my lung every now and then because I'm a chain smoker. I treated my body like shit when I was younger because I was a horror punk singer and did every drug I could get my hands on, drank my liver to death. I have liver damage. My lungs are probably shit. I have a lump underneath my armpit. Pretty sure it's breast cancer. Yeah, I'm probably gonna die within 10 years, bro. But I feel great compared to you. I treated my body like an amusement park, and I feel amazing compared to you. Hopefully I got good genetics. I'll be like Ozzy Osbourne, you know, and live forever. Become Iron Man. But there is a part of me that goes, yeah, he's kind of right. Not enough people woke up. And he thinks we deserve another lockdown. And I almost agree with him. Like, maybe we do. Maybe we do need to deserve another lockdown. So that way we kill our economy. We'll be like Weimar Germany, and we'll be burning cash in fireplaces to keep warm. Yeah. Maybe we do need to learn, because apparently the first lockdown with all these suicides and all these, the economy, just everything that happened those 4 years, maybe we do need another one. So that way, if you're not awake by now and you don't get it, I don't know, maybe we do need another one to fully wake people up. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Do we need another one to teach these dumb sheeple a lesson, these blue-pilled people? Do they need to go through hell again? Because there's still people who are fucking asleep. And I kind of agree with him, dude. I still look around and I'm like, you motherfuckers aren't awake yet, are you? Like, you're still not awake. Half you motherfuckers aren't awake. Let's get into it a little more. But it is a little concerning. I'm going to film from this angle so that way there's a father and children, and I don't want them. I usually have it propped up on my steering wheel, but I don't want them thinking I'm being a creeper filming their kids, you know. But they're already doing this, their tricks and their mind tricks and shit. And I am not, this is not medical advice. I'm not a medical professional. But they are saying that trying to already spread the fear of you can carry this monkeypox and spread it without even knowing you have it. Like, you can have it without the symptoms. Now, this gets into virology. Do you even believe in viruses? Because I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of 50-50, and I almost kind of like believe like Sam Tripoli that there might be viruses and terrain theory at the same time. Look into terrain theory, because there's a lot of fucking good points that terrain theory make. But then there's a lot of times that I feel like there is viruses and shit, and I think it might be a hybrid mixture of both. And I hate to be a fence sitter, but, you know, until I learn more, 5 years from now, I might be a complete terrain theorist. Or 5 years from now, I might think virology is where it's at, People change, dude. That's why, go check out my new Rumble channel, because I'm uploading all my old episodes, starting from episode 1 all the way till now. They're slowly coming out. And go check out just the changes within me. Dude, I used to be agnostic. I used to be, super big into ancient astronaut theory and, almost anti-flat Earth. I used to be a Q-tard at one phase in my life. I've went through phases and shit. So everyone can change. And I think if you're not changing, then something's wrong with you. So there is a part of me that wonders, can you carry a virus and spread it without having the symptoms? I don't know. But they are saying that's a warning they're putting out. It could be fear-mongering propaganda. But there is a part of me that, look at, something like herpes. There's people who have had and spread herpes. And they say, it can take up to, this was way back in the day when I learned it in human growth and development. But they said it could take up to, 2 years until you start getting the symptoms of herpes. You could have herpes for, 2 years. And then suddenly your penis breaks out in a rash and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? And it was a girl that you fucked 2 years earlier. It can hide dormant. I don't know. But we're going to cut it off there. Let me know what you think about the new TikTok trend of people getting excited about monkeypox shutdown, lockdown round 2. People are actually excited over this. We covered 2 stories. I think that's pretty good. Covered RFK getting taken off the ballot in New York. And people on TikTok are excited about a second lockdown. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I love you all. Please like, share, and subscribe. And you all have a blessed day. Oh, bye, Lammy.